Hello, beautiful beings. Now, where have I been? If you don't follow me on Facebook, you're not signed up to my newsletter, you're going to go, where has she been for the last few months? And plastic boxes, a little bit of a clue for where I've been and what I'm doing. So I want to apologize if you've thought, where have I gone? I've not been posting about past lives, inner child, ancestral, between lives, the dimensions, the goings on with Trump, the new inauguration, everything that's going on in the world, the multi-dimensions. I will explain where I have been and what is going on for me. As you know, I am an only child, some of you know this, of much older parents, and my mum twinkled on 3 years ago, and my dad, sadly, twinkled on the 29th of November this year, suddenly, unexpectedly, and you know, as an only child, there is everything you have to do yourself. And as most of you know, I kept my parents at home. They didn't have to go into a care home. It was a lot of work because my mum had dementia. So the boxes are a little giveaway because I'm just deciding what to keep, what to let go. My parents are incredible, neat hoarders. And with them being nearly 100, there are things from the 1920s to present day, and it's like they kept everything, literally everything. So it's all neatly stored away, and we have an amazing walk-in loft. If you follow me on Facebook, you're going to see that I showed you the garage, I showed you the loft. People are very excited to see what treasures are in the boxes, vintage boxes, vintage hat boxes, vintage luggage, everything. It's quite exciting and intriguing because I'm revealing things I have never seen in my life. And also, one of my mum's dearest friends, they didn't have children, and he passed away quite a few years ago. For some reason, my parents took the whole of their house as well. So that's in the garage, their house. So it's like there is so much crockery, and my family worked in the pottery industry because they're near Stoke-on-Trent. So I have an amazing collection of pottery. I also have my mum worked in fashion when she was younger, so I have amazing clothes. It's like a past life within this lifetime, but it is a lot of stuff. And, obviously I've been dealing with the grief. I've done the funeral, the wake. There were so many tips I could tell you, but I had to really focus on doing what I wanted, creating the ceremony that I know would honor my dad. So to help you as well, there are so many things I'm learning from this experience now. Things as well like this: buy quality boxes for storing things. Don't buy the cheap ones because they crack. There are so many top tips I can share with you now. And don't undervalue your trinkets. A couple of days ago I was a bit overwhelmed with how much stuff that my parents have got, and I'm still overwhelmed to a degree, but I've put my thinking cap on, and I have found a lovely lady locally who I knew anyway, and we're starting selling a lot of stuff on Vinted. Someone else is going to be putting stuff on eBay. If you live in Cheshire near Nantwich, give me a shout out, because if you want to get a commission, we can put more stuff on. It's just a speed process. I need to put a lot of stuff on. I'm not rushing myself to sell the house. There are other things that you need to think about as well, which I can help you with my wisdom and insight. The thing is, because I love blusher, and I may have put way too much blusher on. But we're going to list some more stuff this evening. I've given tons of stuff away to the charity shops. I'm getting people to come and lift the carpets, all kinds of things. So really, when this happens to you, and, at some point you've either experienced this or you're going to experience losing a loved one and be left with having to, declutter someone's house and dismantle someone's life. And that's the thing, we're dismantling somebody's life and house and home. And that has to be done with respect and wisdom. And also, you know, since my dad's passed, there was a secret bunker in Nantwich. If you look up Nantwich, there's a secret nuclear bunker that was built at the end of the 40s, beginning of the 50s. And my dad actually wired that secret bunker. I have only found that out since he's passed away. So, you know, they took the official Secrets Act to the zenith, you know. And I have his books for learning about radio transmitters, wiring cables. He did Morse code because he was later in the Merchant Navy. He served in the Korean War. He was also in the Lovat Scouts, which was the army. And he was in the Lovat Scouts in Greece and Italy. He served there for a few years, and then he went on to serve in the Korean War on warships. So he'd been through a lot. So you want to honor and respect what they've been through. So I'm donating the books now that I have found to the museum. Oh, sorry. Let me put the light back on. Let me get the light. Gonna be light on the situation. I'm donating the books to the Vintage Museum in Nantwich. There are lots of other things that I'm going to be donating to various, you know, museums, because I have letters from my mum's brother, who also served in the Korean War, and he died on the front line in the Korean War. And I have his letters to his sister. I have letters from his best friend after he passed. You know, a lot of important historic memorabilia from people who were really there. You know, it's very important, people who were really there and experienced something. And so we have to honor these letters, these treasures, you know, that they're real insights into the true history of humanity and what really happened to us. And as you know, in the work that I do, we're going into the cellular memory. So, you know, before my dad passed away, the day before he passed away, I had these horrific rashes on my neck, and they started to go once he passed. So there is so much that I have to share with you about healing, about transformation, about how you pace yourself, how you resurrect yourself in the space of grief and loss, and people who've taken up an inordinate amount of your life because you loved and cared and you're a good person and you're caring and kind, and then they're gone overnight, whether that's a parent, a brother, a sister, a partner, a child, you know, which is really horrific. And also the registering of the death has changed for the first time in 50 years. On the 9th of September, they've changed the registration of sudden deaths. So there are loads of tips that I can tell you if you want to see the body. You have to pull the faith card to get to see that. There's so much change that needs to come to assist families in their time of grief and mourning, and that process of healing and grieving, and to, you know, retreat from the world and focus on what you need to do. You know, my situation's quite extreme. You know, I spent 25 days on my own organizing the funeral. I am so happy I had my dad's beloved neighbors, Pat and Martin, across the road, who are truly magical beings. You know, and that's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily the people who you think are going to be there for you who actually are there for you. You know, it's unexpected people, but, you know, strangers. Just let the people who come towards you to help you, and let go of the sadness that you sometimes feel of thinking, wow, I've put so much energy into this friendship or that friendship. This person's not even written me a Christmas card, not even written me a sympathy card, not even called me, you know, not offered any help or compassion. Let that go, because no matter how much you've put into helping that person does not mean you're going to get it back from that person. And so don't even expect it, because it's going to come from people you don't expect it from. So I'm sharing so many things about where I've been, where we're at, the Trump inauguration. How exciting is that? Now, it looks like it's a higher vibrational administration coming in. But at the end of the day, let's remember, we have to do our inner alchemy on self. You know, Trump is not the Jesus of the new world. He is not going to save you. You know, he is I've seen him speaking at the World Economic Forum in the last few days. I thought it was very discerning on what he said. They said, oh, we're looking forward to seeing you next year at the World Economic Forum. And he said, thank you. He didn't say, yes, I'll see you at the World Economic Forum. I'll be there in person. They were projecting that onto him, but that's not what he said. So you have to read the minutiae detail between the lines of what people say. He said, thank you. He didn't say he agreed with them. But at the end of the day, no matter what side he is on, you have to do your inner alchemy. Nobody is coming to rescue or save us. Our mental health, our physical health, having been through the worst things that people can be through in the totality of my life to this point, and having got to 54, and seeing my mental health being so strong, while all this was going on, my oldest childhood friend was locked up while my dad was passing away. My father's best friend, who he's known since was 3, collapsed and was in hospital in the ward next to my dad while my dad was in the mortuary. His friend, who is 100, has made an amazing resurrection and is at home back with his beloved wife, who is also 100, and they live at home on their own. So there is so much intrigue for me to share with you about life, about you, about where your vibration is going forward. And it is a game of vibration. This whole game on planet Earth now is a vibrational game. And so everything that's coming through your body is going to manifest as rashes, ailments, illnesses coming up to be cleared. You've got to clear the emotional Akashic records. That's the work that I help you with. It's past lives, it's inner child, it's ancestral, whether we're doing regression into past lives in person. And soul light language codes are so powerful. I sung my father into his final resting place by singing light language. And you can also see that happen if it's a cremation. I'm sharing a lot of information just now. It's called charging of the body. So there's so much that I know that I can share to help you. And, that's my joy and passion, helping you. But at the moment, I'm in Cheshire. I'm going to be back in Glastonbury next week. I would have gone today, but the weather has just been wild. And did you see what happened in Cornwall? Oh, my goodness, those poor people with those static caravans in Cornwall have been decimated. But there is no Wi-Fi and no phone signal hardly in my parents' house unless I go upstairs into a tiny corner. So I'm having to force to deal with the physicality of their house, deal with all the practicality of what you have to do. And I may well go on holiday now, because I certainly deserve a little hollybobs in the sunshine for a couple of weeks or so. Let me see if I can see any messages from you. Is anybody's? Hi everybody. Thank you for joining me. Does anybody have a question? Obviously, I'm sat in the car. I'm in a place called Nantwich, having just purchased all these storage. Whoop! Hold on 1 second. You haven't lost me. I'm back. So I've got these storage boxes. I'm going to be very discerning about what I'm keeping of my parents' stuff. The thing is, you can always let stuff go later. You can't get it back if you've let it go. So really decide what you want to keep, maybe overkeep stuff and then cull it down again. Be realistic about your life and who you are, and also how old you are. And do we want to take some treasured possessions? You can take their favorite clothing. I'm going to take my dad's favorite pajamas and my mum's favorite blouse that seemed to last eternity, and I'm going to make it into a little teddy bear for myself. And the rest of the clothes, they're going. Maybe some jumpers that I gave my dad and I'm getting them back, but it's like, let that stuff go. Do not get over sentimental about things. Photographs, yes. And as we see from the fires in LA, the resurrection, in some ways, although it's tragic, the fires, in some ways, you stand there and you think, oh my God, look at all this stuff I've got to clear. Treasured trinkets that I'm like overwhelmed, and someone else's have got burned to a smithereen. Their whole life in one evening or afternoon has been burnt to a smithereen, and you are forced to start again. and you have to grieve that loss, but you have to go through again the resurrection of knowing that, wow, you were in vibrational alignment to being in this place at this time, and this is what happens to your stuff. And if that's what happens, it's for a reason. You know, you're here to let that stuff go. You know, the stuff has let itself go, and it's, you can cry and grieve for it, but you have to move on and you have to start afresh, you know. And it was funny because when I heard some of the people being interviewed who had lost all their stuff, the 90-year-olds were like, well, we'll just start again, you know. So it's the optimism. We must be optimistic, you know. And you cannot take, as you see when someone passes, you cannot take anything with you. And the funny thing is, you know, I made notes for my parents' funerals years ago. In 2008, I wrote notes, and I found that book after both of them passed, and I had more or less adhered to what they wanted, but not exactly. But it did make me smile and chuckle, because in the book where I'd made the notes about what my father's wishes were when he passed, it was like, in the coffin, do not clutter me up. Do not clutter me up, which made me laugh, because after he passed, all I could hear his voice in my head was going, don't junk me up, don't junk me up, don't be shoving stuff in my pockets, or, you know, filling up the coffin with stuff, do not junk me up. And then when I found that that was actually in his notes from 2008, it did make me smile, you know. And I've seen signs from them as well. My father, you'll love this, if any of you are familiar with the Violet Flame, Saint Germain of the Violet Flame. No, I'm not sure where I personally stand on that. I've had those books because, as you know, I've been on my spiritual, mystical journey for 24 years now, into 2005. So, my dad had been igniting the Violet Flame for years. He found that book years ago, and he'd been doing the affirmation for health and well-being, and it worked. He lived to 98 years and 100 days. So after his funeral, I went back to the house, and his wardrobe doors had flown open, and the Violet Flame book had fallen down on the carpet in the middle of the floor. So I saw that as a sign from him. It's the middle of winter in the UK, and my mum has always shown herself as a ladybird since she's passed, and there were ladybirds in the garden on the fairy statue, and it's freezing cold. It's practically Christmas. So, you know, see these signs are there for everyone. So many people talk about the feathers, but they're not always feathers. It's something else. It's seeing the subtle signs, hearing the messages. You know, the soul lives on afterwards. I know that 1,000%, whether we stay in this dimension or we've ascended to some other vibrational dimension and we don't need to come into the physical form anymore. That's all within everyone's soul potential. But we're here right now because you're watching me. You're in a physical body. You're meant to be here right now. There will be testing and challenging times. And, you know, January in the UK is certainly not the happiest, jolliest time. The weather is atrocious. You know, it's not that light, but it's getting lighter, remember. And we have to raise our vibration and stay in alignment to the highest frequency. Now, I will be in London 1st to the 3rd of February in Richmond, seeing one-to-one clients in person for my 2-hour regression sessions. Also, if you're interested in the gratitude diaries that you saw, I have one of these beautiful diaries here. Do you remember these? I have a lot of these left because when my dad passed, I just received the stock and I've been mainly up north. I have some with me and I have some in Glastonbury. So if you do want the gratitude diaries, I have posted about them on Facebook. They're absolutely stunning. I will be reducing the price because I just need to get rid of them, and they should have gone at Christmas time. But that, you know, life happens and these are the setbacks that we face. So does anybody have a little question before I go? Thank you, sending me so much love. Thank you. Oh, well, you know, I've made live videos on Facebook and I sent a newsletter saying where I've been, where have I been? But I hadn't really made a video for YouTube. So I just wanted to make a little video because not everybody is subscribed to my newsletter on my website. Not everybody follows me on Facebook, and it's a lot of social media to do. You know, I like YouTube. I do love YouTube. And I do love Facebook. A little bit old school. I do Instagram, but I have lost touch with how to upload that stuff properly. And I have my own newsletters. I must apologize in advance when you go to my website now to book a session or download a meditation. It still says 2004 because like I said, there's hardly any signal in my parents' house. I just not had time to do everything. So I will be going home, catching up with that, being in London 1st to 3rd of February. So shout out if you want a session there. And then I will be organising little hollybobs somewhere in the sunshine. And but I'm always online daily for my Skype sessions. Remember, I don't use Zoom. I find Skype is a better frequency. It's a much clearer frequency. Also, Zoom will not carry light language sound frequency. It just does not carry. So you have to use Skype for that. Or, hold on one second, or the phone. But if you're abroad, it's got to be Skype. So let's put our hands on our hearts. I'm going to bring in a light language code for us all to set our intentions for this amazing time. And the true new year doesn't actually, if you go by the Gregorian calendar, doesn't actually start till springtime. So this kind of new year at the end of January is kind of a fakey new year, but it's also a good time mentally. It's a mental new year as opposed to a vibrational new year, which is more springtime when new things are coming, new us, new spring, new life, the resurrection of self. So let us bring in a light code for our own souls. So just closing our eyes, breathing in, breathing out, and letting these light codes ripple in. Isara Kamakuya, Ishara Kamakuya, Sata Kamakuya, Ilara Kamakuya. Sata Kamakuya Arantakaya. Breathing out, beautiful beings. And as I was bringing that light language forth, I was just reminded that we can do what we do anywhere, anytime, any place. Don't keep waiting for everything to be perfect to start doing something. Things will never be perfect. So many people procrastinate, and let 2005 be the end of procrastination. You don't need everything to be perfect to start doing something. You know, I learned that years ago, and I have an amazing story I'll tell another day about how I learned that. But look at me, you know, I was like, I gotta do a live right now. I'm sat in the car park of B&M in Nantwich with all my plastic boxes that I've just bought to start saving what I want from my parents' house. I have already bought more plastic boxes. This is not the first batch. But I just got the inspiration. Do a live, do it now. And you can speak to everybody around the world. You don't need to be, you know, in the beautiful lighting, lovely background. No, I'm in the car, you know, I've been clearing the house and I've got plastic boxes, and I'm so happy that we are all connecting at this time, you know, because it's the divine time. So never ever wait for what you perceive in the mind as the perfect time. It's always the perfect time. If your intuition and your inspiration is pulling you to do something, do it then, act on it, proceed forward, do it. You know, do not procrastinate, do not start justifying it in your mind, just do it. And that's what happened yesterday, you know. And the young lady that's coming to the house, I'm gonna have to go shortly because she's coming to the house. I'm gonna upload more stuff to Vinted, you know. And it's great, you know, it's helping her, it's helping me, it's a wonderful thing. So yeah, that's a great thing. So anybody else who lives nearby, shout out, you can come and help me upload stuff so I can clear this house. And I'm also thinking about opening a vintage day in the house to sell more things. So ideas, inspiration, you know, many moons ago, some of you don't know this, when I lived in London in Sloane Square, I really loved living in Sloane Square, and I was like, I want to stay here. I found this amazing jewelry that I loved. I'd found it in the south of France in this medieval village called Aires, and I knew if I ever found the distributor or the manufacturer of that jewelry, I would sell it. And I did. I found them. So I started selling it, but I had to turn my house in Sloane Square into a shop, and it was called the Chelsea Princess Shopping Club. And it was in the 1990s, and I leafleted the whole of Chelsea and Kensington, and it said it was a 3-day shopping club, and people had 3 days to join the shopping club, otherwise they wouldn't get in. And you know, it was, the phone rang off the hook, I want to come to the shopping club, I want to come to the shopping club. And then not only did I have this vintage jewelry, I had bought the samples from the guy who'd sold pashminas to royalty and to Selfridges and to Harrods and everything. I bought all his samples off him. And then everybody else started saying to me, here, take my stock on sale or return. And it was beautiful stuff, and it was before even Accessorize and Monsoon really existed. So I turned my house into a shop, and it was called the Chelsea Princess Shopping Club. Some of you might not know that. That's the thing. I've been through many incarnations in this one lifetime, you know, motivated by ideas, inspiration. So let that filter through. You don't need to let something be perfect. You just need to do it. And then you can wrap it up if it doesn't feel right and you don't want to keep doing it. You don't have to do something forever. You just be in the flow of the now. Be in the flow of the now. So let me just, sorry, these glasses might be a little bit murky. I don't actually need glasses. I've been for an eye test and they said I didn't need them, but I struggle to read my phone in the car at night. I think it's because of the Wi-Fi frequencies. I think they affect my eyesight, because when I'm somewhere where there's no Wi-Fi, I can see perfectly well. So I bought myself these cheap little glasses from Amazon. But I find them quite useful to read on here. So hi, greetings everybody. Thank you, Ellie. Thank you, Twinkle Toe. Oh, I love being called Twinkles. And McDoodles. Everybody's got really nice names. Thank you. I think and Templar, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Well, thank you for joining me. And I will be back with I don't know who you are, Templar, but you've met the lovely George. If some of you look back, lovely George and I did a video. George is diagnosed, so he's happy for me to say this. He's diagnosed with autism. He's the most beautiful twinkly starseed you could met, and he has had the most terrible year last year. He got burnt in a tent with 15% body burns, and then while he was healing from that and in intensive care for a few months, he came out for a couple of days and he fell over and broke his shoulder, unfortunately, which was hard to repair it because of the burns. But it's all been fixed now, and he's another one in a resurrection phase of his reality. So thank you, Templar. I am sure you're a beloved new friend, and George is in Yeovil. And so shout out to George. There was a beautiful video we did together a while back in Cornwall, maybe a couple of years or so. But he's such a twinkly starseed and such a beautiful soul. And he's been through such a lot physically. And he's still, remaining positive, forging forward, so let's all send him love as well. So thank you. I'm sure he'll be thrilled for your friendship. Oh, he's on his way to Bristol. Oh, he introduced you to me. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I'm very fond of George. He's like a soul family member. So I'm sure you guys will have so much fun. So sending you all lots of love. So ahui ho in Hawaiian, and I will be back to those islands because had so much fun in the islands over the years, and you'll see some of my videos that I made when I was in Hawaii and Sedona. I spent a lot of time in Sedona. If you're new to my work, love Sedona. We'll be back there now. You know, I was a really great daughter, and the last few years of both of my parents' lives, I felt it was my duty as an only child to be in the UK and not leave the country, so that I was here for whenever the inevitable happened. And you know, now I am free, apart from the house and the possessions. I am free once I've sorted all that out, but I'm pacing myself, you know, and I shall be out and about there in the world. But I need a little bit of a, you know, rest and recuperation, but I'm having to do all the things you have to do right now. So thank you all so much, and thank you for sticking with me, because you probably got other stuff going on. So I'm really grateful that you've stayed with me for this little live broadcast. And my intention also, if you followers of the Galactic crew and Danny and Elena and all those lot, I am planning to come to Danny's event in Eastbourne. That is my intention, to be there, because I've not ever been able to make the ones abroad because of my parents. So I am hoping to be able to get there in May. So that's an exciting thing to look forward to. And so much love to all of you. And I hope you've enjoyed the light language. Hope you've enjoyed the broadcast. If you enjoy my channel, please share it with your friends, your family, share my videos on YouTube, go to my channel. There are free meditations and there are paid for meditations as well. And, you know, look out for my knickknacks. I might try and link our channel of knickknacks to the Facebook page or something. So lots of knickknacks, lots of gorgeous things. I might even do a live from the house showing you some of the trinkets if anybody wants any of the stuff. You know, I might get round to that. I have some really amazing trinkets, you know, from our older generations, our you know, I called my parents the elderly toddlers, from the elderly toddlers generation. Oh, Temple is saying lovely George's hair is growing back, which is great news to hear. So that's wonderful. So much love to everybody for now. And thank you, Darren, for your lovely kind thoughts. Yeah, it's a lot dealing with our parents, whether you've got a sibling or a partner or children to help you. It's a lot, you know. At least I had nobody to disagree with. I just had to decide what I wanted to do was right for my parents and honoring them, not what I wanted, what I felt was right for them. So thank you all so much for joining me on this live. I shall try and upload it, and I must get back now because it's tea time in the UK. It's 6 o'clock, and I believe that's tea time. I think dinner time is a little bit later. I think tea times, because then you've got afternoon tea and tea time. And I like breakfast, lunch and dinner, although this is dinner time really. We all call things different things, and maybe it's a past life thing as well, what we call things. One word I hate, and I'm sure a lot of you use this word, I hate the word meal. I like to be specific. It's either breakfast, brunch, lunch, afternoon tea, tea time, or the other word, supper. That's quite an intriguing word, supper. So I shall be going for something around 6 time. So yeah, someone's saying, Templar's saying dinner time is lunchtime. Oh, you think so? You think so? You are oh yes, a dinner lady. Oh, I think you win there because you're right, a dinner lady. And we were at school at lunchtime. Oh my God, that is so right, isn't it? Thank you for that one. Anyway, much love. And as I said in Hawaiian, ahui ho means until we meet again, because there are no goodbyes, not in the energetic realms. You know, even though our parents, it's weird being in your parents' house. It's like they've stepped out of the room for the day. you know, and then you've got to dismantle their reality, but they're somewhere, you know, but they just don't need that stuff anymore. So much love, and I will go because I keep saying I'm going, but I'm loving connecting with everybody. So much love for now, many blessings, and thanks for joining me. Bye, much love. Oh, I don't think I've ended. I don't know how to end this one. Where is it going? You're all still there. I don't know how to end it and save it. Hold on 1 second. Oh, maybe I should have saved it while it was live. Maybe that's what I should have done. Let me see how I'm going to end this now. Hold on 1 second, everybody. Let's see. Maybe I just press this button. See. Oh yeah, end. So I really am going now. Really going. Much